Hello everyone, GoldenNova here, and it's time to round out our coverage of Amazing Defenders by talking about its last and cutest archetype. See, it's every kid's dream to have an animal companion, a faithful comrade that'll stay by your side, listen to your woes, and cheer you up when you're feeling sad. And if you crave a bit of adventure, you also wish that the bond you forge with this companion will alter them in a unique way that can be used for combat. And today, that's just what you're gonna get. Purrely is an archetype built around a single monster, the Purrely, who evolves along different tracks depending on the kinds of quick play spell experiences you give it. Its branching evolutionary paths have likened it to one of Pokemon's most beloved mascots, Eevee, and it's easy to see why. But in both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, competition is a big part of the community. So the question is, does Purrely have what it takes to join them? And that's what we're going to find out today. We'll look over all the starters so we know our options, pick the one that fits our style best, then see what experiences we can seek out to enrich our evolving confidant. It's time to power up with Purrely. But before we continue, a quick reminder to please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed my content so far. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and there's no better way to get there than on our duel runners. Our next stop is 40k, which means Leo and Luna Explained, where we'll be covering Ancient Fairy Dragon's companions, the Power Tool Dragons, Morphtronics, and any other cards that are more than meets the eye. We've also got our Discord, where we just like talking about loafs. I also have a Twitch where you can join me for viewer duels, progression pulls, and chaos draft pulls for the foreseeable future. And don't forget about my Patreon, where you can gain access to my videos early, reach some of these milestones, as well as helping to determine which videos I make. Thank you all so much for watching, and now, back to the video. So what's the deal with Purrely? Well, they're a series of fairy monsters of various attributes, and stacking Xyz material is the name of the game. We're looking to use our many memory quick play spells to turn base Purrely into a number of E-Purrely monsters, which act as the middle stage of their evolutions until they accrue enough materials to transform into an X-Purrely, where we're going to try and leverage the power of all those material that we've saved up to close out the game. And to help it make a bit more sense, let's take a look at the monster that starts it all, Purrely, a level 1 light monster with 100 attack and defense, and if this card is normal or special summoned, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, add a Purrely spell or trap card from among them to your hand, also place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And once per turn, you can reveal a Purrely quick play spell in your hand, and if you do, special summon an Xyz monster that mentions it from your extra deck by using this face-up card you control as material, and if you do, attach the revealed card to the summoned monster as an additional material. And this is treated as a legit Xyz summon. So base Purrely helps you find the cards you need to help get their journey started, but you don't get to pick what you get. And while this isn't the best mechanically, I do like it thematically, as the life of pet ownership isn't a straightforward one, and comes with many unexpected twists and turns, which this effect kinda emulates. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going on a campaign to have Konami make plushies of this thing. Seriously, how is this not already in my mailbox? Now let's get into Purrely's possible evolutions. E-Purrely Happiness is a rank 2 light monster with 2000 attack and 100 defense, requiring any 2 level 2 monsters as material. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you can add a Purrely card from your deck to your hand. Also, if this card has Purrely Happy Memory as material, you can have the attack of a face-up monster on the field. And thrice per turn, my favorite activation amount, when you activate a Purrely quick play spell card as a quick effect, you can attach this card on the field to this card as material, then you can return a spell or trap card your opponent controls to the hand. This is our offensive E-Purrely, because the more you swing with this, the more searches you get, not to mention debuffing a monster's attack permanently, which can make it even easier for Happiness to get over him. Over time, you'll see that the Purrelys have to have as many material under them as possible, so being able to scoop up your quick play spells is great news, because not only do you get a nifty utility effect, our quick play spells actually give effects to our Purrelys, which I'm happy to report are pretty good. E-Purrely Beauty is a rank 2 water monster with 1600 attack and 1100 defense, requiring 2 level 2 monsters as material. Once per turn, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of this turn, which is a quick effect if this card has Purrely Pretty Memory as material. And like Happiness, thrice per turn, you can attach a Purrely quick play spell card you've activated to this card, which Beauty's bonus effect being that you can change the battle position of a monster your opponent controls. Now, it bears mentioning that that last effect can miss timing. Since it's a win effect, if your opponent chains to the activation of your Purrely quick play spell, you won't get a chance to absorb it, which is pretty sad. But when you take your text from Thunder Dragon Titan, that stuff is bound to happen. Still, being able to manipulate battle positions can be quite the boon if a monster has a particularly bad stat they don't want applying on the battlefield, so being able to use this to weave together a glorious battle phase is a thing of beauty. Purrely Plump is a rank 2 Earth monster with 200 attack and 2100 defense, requiring 2 level 2 monsters as material. Once per turn, you can target up to 2 spell and or trap cards in either grave and attach them to this card as material. And this is a quick effect if this card has Purrely Delicious Memory as material. And thrice per turn, Plump can also absorb an activated Purrely Quick Play spell, then you can banish a monster on the field until the end phase. So hey, free Farfa effect. This can clear the way for direct attacks, or a monster that's particularly troublesome. It can even be used against rival Xyz, maybe even in the mirror, to strip material out from under a monster so they'll have to start all over again. And the quick effect absorption of spells and traps means that not only can you grab other Purrely Quick Play spells for their effects, but also deny those kinds of cards to your opponent. If they have an effect that'll grab those out of the grave, namely Despia of Tragedy, Plump will just scoop them up. Because hey, you can't duel on an empty stomach, right? Alright, that does it for our rank 2s, now it's time to rank up into our final, for now, forms. Purrely Noir is a rank 7 dark monster with 1100 attack and 2800 defense, requiring any 2 level 7 monsters as material. But you can also Xyz summon this card by using any rank 2 monster you control with 5 or more material, hence all the effects that let your Purrelys absorb material. This card with 5 or more material is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, and you can detach 2 material from this card, then target a card your opponent controls or is in their grave, and place it on the bottom of their deck. And this is a quick effect if this card has a level 1 Purrely monster as material. A nice bonus for those who aren't just splashing this in, and raised Noir from their tiny cub form. Having a big, unaffected wall in the way of your opponent that removes monsters is pretty neat, though I am skeptical that you'll be able to keep that status for long, as this card has no way to inherently add more material under it, even if it is just to absorb recently played quick play spells. However, the effect is phenomenal, as just behind banishing a card face down, putting a card on the bottom of the deck is the most effective way to ensure no one sees it ever again. And because it goes for the field and grave, this has a wide range of utility. I'm looking forward to seeing if we'll get a Purrely Cinema Memories quick play spell though, because then we'll be able to make this Purrely Film Noir. Purrely Happiness is a rank 7 light monster with 2500 attack and 1100 defense, which has the same alternate Xyz summoning method as Noir. During your main phase, you can detach a material, and if you do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. And if a level 1 Purrely monster is attached to Happiness as material, your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. And when an attack is declared involving this card with 5 or more material, inflict 1500 points of damage to your opponent. And keep that in mind because that's about to get very out of hand. If Purrely Happiness was your offensive monster, this is your game ender. It turns off all of your opponent's monster's effects, so they can't interrupt you while you swing in for 1500 damage no matter what you're attacking, making this Purrely extraordinary. Alright, that's all the monsters, now it's time for the spells and traps. Purrely Delicious Memory is a quick play spell that has you choosing a monster on the field, and it can't be destroyed by battle until the end of the next turn. Then you can discard a card, and if you do, special summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck, and a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card as material gains this effect. This card gains 300 attack and defense for each material attached to it. Now, this might seem small on the surface, but let's put that into context. Assuming this is under one of our rank 2s and they have only 2 material, that provides a boost of 600, turning Purrely Beauty into a decent attacker, while Purrely Happiness goes up to 2600. And because this boosts defense too, Plump now has a huge 2700 defense. But if we look at our Purrelys, who are supposed to have at minimum 5 material, you're looking at a boost of 1500. That turns Purrely Happiness into a 4000 attack monster that rivals Obelisk, and even Purrely Noir becomes a decent 2600 that can stay on the offensive, though the titanic 4300 defense stat is nothing to sneeze at. And that's with only one delicious memory, as having multiples will stack. This card will have a huge impact on how you view these monsters, and as a tasty treat that can't be beat. Well, by your opponent, that is. Purrely Happy Memory is a quick play spell that chooses a card on the field, and once until the end of the next turn it can't be destroyed by card effects. Then you can discard a card, and if you do, special summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. And a Purrely Xyz monster with this card as material gains this effect. This card can attack monsters a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of Purrely Happy Memories attached to this card, +1. So at minimum, this makes the monster it's attached to a double attacker, and that grows with each copy of Happy Memory you slap on. Also, the effect Destruction Protection is a nice little bonus. Now, this does have the stipulation that you can only gain those extra attacks on monsters, but we actually already have a way built in that bypasses this. Purrely Delicious Memory. See, the effect that can prevent battle destruction is not limited to only protecting your own cards. So you can use this to turn base Purrely into Purrely Happiness, hit your opponent with Delicious Memory, have our Purrely scoop it up, get a couple more materials under it, then turn into Purrely Happiness. Then run into the monster that can't be destroyed by battle, dealing a total of 3000 burn damage along the way because that effect is not once per turn, and dealing supplemental battle damage along the way with your 4000 attack monster. And lethal gets even easier to achieve the more Happy Memories you stack under it. And that's why you take your kids to theme parks, parents. When they grow up, they get more attacks. That's just science. Purrely Pretty Memory is a quick play spell that gives each player 1000 life points. Then you can also discard a card, and if you do, special summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. I do like that all these memories help you get out the base monster. And a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card as material gains the effect to, once per turn, send one other card you control to the grave, then target a card your opponent controls and attach it to this card as material. This is a nice way to add some removal to your Purrelys, and since this effect doesn't involve detaching material, gives you a way to replenish your material should you run low. And while it does target, it doesn't destroy, so you can get around some pesky effect triggers that other removal might trip, which I think makes this a pretty good card. Purrely, My Friend, is a continuous spell card, and each turn you can pay 500 life points to reveal 3 Purrely cards from your deck, except a copy of this card. Your opponent randomly picks one to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest into your deck. And if any number of face-up Purrely Xyz monsters you control leave the field because of an opponent's card, even during the damage step, you can add up to 3 Purrely quick play spells with different names from your grave to your hand. This is pretty incredible, as it makes it very easy to get all the way back to your Purrely forms. The random searching effect is kind of annoying, but thankfully it doesn't ask you to reveal 3 Purrely cards with different names. So if you still have 3 of the same name in your deck, you can rig the odds in your favor. And that's all the analysis I have in me, because look at this little creature! Look at the big eyes looking up at you for pet him. Oh, I love him so much. I love him and I never want him to go. Stray Purrely Street is a field spell, and while it's on the field, your opponent can't target Purrely monsters you control with card effects during the turn they're special summoned. And once per turn, if any number of face-up Purrely Xyz monsters you control leave the field by an opponent's card, special summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck or grave. And once per turn during the end phase, you can target a Purrely Xyz monster on the field and attach a Purrely quick play spell card from your deck or grave to it as material. Now, while the targeting protection doesn't last for very long, it is very helpful when you push for game, because it'll essentially give you the protection you need long enough to close things out. It also helps a ton by giving you a way to get back the level 1 Purrely to start things over, complemented very well by Purrely, My Friend, giving you back all your quick play spells. And of course, the passive material regeneration is stellar, helping to increase your count and get those wildly powerful effects. And don't forget, that effect triggers during the end phase, not your end phase, so each turn cycle between you and your opponent means 2 more material. How's that for being on easy street? Purrely Leap is a normal trap card that targets a Purrely Xyz monster you control to special summon a Purrely Xyz monster from your extra deck with a different rank than that monster you control by using it as material, but return it to the extra deck during the end phase, and this is treated as an Xyz summon, transferring all material over as usual. And while this card is in the grave, you can banish this card from your grave, then target up to 3 Purrely monsters in your grave and shuffle them back into the deck. You don't get a draw for it, but it's nice enough to know that you have an on-theme way to recycle your material, since I believe you'll be shunting a lot of Purrely monsters into the grave, especially if things go wrong. Something else I like about this is how well you can cheat this, because it doesn't say you turn the Purrely into a monster with a higher rank, just a different one. This means you can attack multiple times with a rank 7 Purrely that has happy materials, then in the middle of the battle phase, use Leap to run it back into a rank 2. This means you get the multiple attacks again because this is a new monster, and if there is a main phase 2 and this rank 2 Purrely still has 5 material, you can rank them back up to a 7, and now it's not going to go back to the extra deck because it's not the same monster. Being a trap card really hurts this card's playability, but considering what it can do, I think a leap of faith is in order. So that's all the Purrely cards, but what do we do with them? Well, going first, ranking up into Noir is a solid choice to wall our opponent while disrupting them. And on the play, you stack up a magnificent X Purrely happiness to bring it all home. So the rest of our deck should be focused on making sure that our game plan isn't interrupted, or at least get it done so fast that your opponent can't stop you. So what can we play to help them out? Well, when it comes to Xyz monsters that stack multiple material, well, you gotta think of Zeus. That's right, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight version 2.0 makes a comeback appearance here in the worst/best way possible, depending on your viewpoint. Since Sky Thunder here doesn't have a once per turn clause, you can turn a fully matured X Purrely into Zeus, giving this card a total of 3 activations. Sadly, Zeus won't get any of the additional effects of the quick play spells under it, but to be fair, that would be overpowered. Xyz Import is a terrifyingly powerful piece of removal for our theme, especially with Delicious Memories stat boost. After all, the bigger your Purrely gets, the more targets you have to tuck under said Purrely, and at quick effect speed no less. And if you want to make sure you see this as often as possible, play Generation Force, which will basically act as more copies of this. Another great Xyz monster you can go into is Utopic Future, which you can then rank up into Utopic Draco Future. Just take any 2 rank 2 Purrelys to get the process started. You might also want to branch out into other level 2 engines as well. While Sprite Starters might not be a good place to start since it locks you out of a lot of your plays, you could use Nimble Beavers to make something like Oni Bamaru for some utility before folding them into Utopic Future. Or you can just link summon Sprite Elf, as it can continue to revive rank 2 Purrelys, and bonus, provides targeting protection. While they won't have the level 1 version as material to get the rank 7 bonus effects, they're just that, bonus. As for a silly tech pick, try Stoic Challenge, a card that can drastically increase your damage output. This can give your X Purrelys north of 3600 attack and double damage, but it does keep them from activating their effects, which is totally fine because the stat boost and multi-attack don't activate, so use this to rip into your opponent to your heart's content. And that's all I have to say about Purrely. This could end up being the surprise sleeper hit, which is only partially informed by the fact that this deck hits like a truck. But a lack of a diverse game plan, despite its diverse forms, leads me to believe that this theme will be too easy for the meta to deny its main win condition. However, if you can find a way to get by with negates to keep your plays safe, you'll find a theme that's ready to show their stuff. Besides, a good trainer always wins with their favorite deck, and if Rika have taught us anything, it's that any archetype can threaten the meta with the right release. But now, I want to hear what you all have to say. Are Purrelys pure genius, or are they a bit too pampered to pass as playable? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to show your support, ring that bell so you don't miss an episode, and share this video with someone you know who loves Yu-Gi-Oh! It really does a lot to help me out. Today's episode was sponsored by my lovely patrons, including Quasar Commander Harry, the ominous benefactor, special contributor Gibbles the Gibble, Nebula Navigators 3rd Dynasty, Adam Zajdel, Ashling Waltz, Avi Chali, Benjamin Meisner, Kane Senpai, Cameron Berg, Eric, Frankie, Genesis Yu-Gi-Oh!, Gloomba 331, Great Big Pillock, Howling Zangetsu, Ironic, John Manji, Julius Sneezer, Larakia, Meteornus, Michael Madsen, Mighty Action X, Muzuki Clark, Neo Trinity, Panther J, Rebel King Lucifer, Rem T. Bright, RJ the Jank Monarch, Ruxith Sarani, Sophie, apparently, The Fresh Prince of Conair, The Wizard Moose, True Neutral, Tyler Cranston, Xander Wolfensberger and Zyrus, Cosmic Crusaders, Bear Sharktopus Studios, Chaz Ghost, Corbinisms, Emily, Eva Padilla, Inblink, Jesus Garcia, KL, Kale the Dragon, King Scarlet Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lord Whoop-De-Doo, Manga Pages, Marion James E. Picata, Nitromo, RGS, Shooting Star 3300, Star-Lord 777, and the Legendary Raven, as well as the wonderful Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. I'm only able to continue doing this thanks to the support of these lovely people, so if you'd like to be a part of these credits, as well as help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, please check out my YouTube membership or Patreon links in the description to see if I have anything you'd like on offer. And if you'd like to see another video about an Xyz theme that loves cheating its Xyz material, check out this video I made covering featuring Spriggans. And if you want to see two Yugi tubers going at it, check out Noah Jenk and I's latest series, Progression Polls, where your voice shapes the format. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.